This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Online Network of Independent Learning Professionals. We are doing Community Hour today with a special guest who I'll introduce in just a moment. And Community Hour is a time where we can ask, questions that we want to ask. We can bring in snags if you're stuck on something and you just want to, um, you know, maybe brainstorm, have the hive mind help you. We're happy to do that. Brags, if you are working on a cool project or if you've done something really cool, we love to learn about new cool tools or things like that. Um, Vince, if someone has been mean to you, you tell us all about it. We will hate them together. Um, just questions or topics you want to bat around. All of those things are fair game for Community Hour. And I am going to go ahead and just stop sharing my screen because I'm not really sharing anything important. And I just wanted to take a moment and introduce Bryan Jones of eLearning Art. We are super excited to have him with us today. He has a new tool called InGrasp, which is a software tool that creates AI characters. And it's like the same character with different poses and expressions. And I know a lot of people have been very excited to hear about this and learn about it. That is going to be we're going to just start off with this, learning a new tool. So I'm going to kick it over to Bryan. Maybe tell us just a little bit about yourself and the tool, and we'll jump on in.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Yeah, so I started doing e-learning back. It was my first job out of college in 2000, so 25 years ago. And I started as a soft skills scenario and simulation builder for SmartForce, which then became Skillsoft. And that's kind of been my jam for how I've approached the development of e-learning through story-based and scenario-based training, which led me down the path of not being able to find images that really supported sequential slides to be able to tell stories. And I started eLearning Art and built up a library of character images where we actually went into the studio, photographed people, clipped out the backgrounds, then did illustrated characters as well. Basically, all the assets that you need to support story-based and scenario-based training. And this InGrasp thing is kind of the next like the 2.0 version of what eLearning Art was in the support of storytelling and scenarios. Training is about people and people doing things and doing things differently. So stories and scenarios and people are the approach that I like to take in putting things into context. I'll share my screen really quickly. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yep, realistic, consistent characters. We see that.
Yep. Yeah. So this is if anyone wants to do a follow on with me, if you just click on the get started or you scroll down and you click the book demo, that'll just it'll get onto my calendar. So if anyone wanted to do a one-on-one, you can. And that's great. But I'll the consistent characters is what's the struggle with many AI tools, and that's really what we're focused on with this. And I'll show you guys more about that. But I want to put it into context. Let me pull up. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you three like makeover approaches just to show the context of how we do it, and then we'll get in the tool and I'll let you guys help dictate what it is that we create and show you generally how I would approach that with the InGrasp tool. So this is a before slide. Right. So we're looking at like a cyber security training and some sort of before slide that maybe a subject matter expert had been using in the past, and you've been asked to do a makeover on a course or something like that. It's just like a wall of text. It's information. And this is one where I really feel like an opportunity was lost because getting hacked sucks and it disrupts your life in many, many ways. And so if I were making this over from a story standpoint, and we'll do it with a character, but I would start with the emotion, right? So if I were trying to make this more engaging, I would start with an emotional hook like Debbie just got emails from her boss's boss, and three of her customers all saying they got a phishing email from her email box. As her inbox piles up with complaints, she realizes she's been hacked. They must think I'm an idiot. What if I infected their computers? I should have used a better password, right? So something like this as the makeover from, like this, even if it was the same slide following it, if I only had 30 minutes to make over a course, that's how I would do it. Is like, why should I care about this, instead of ignoring like this password reset thing, starting with something like this. And then I would then go into multiple stories around the different areas where maybe this one was for a remote worker. So, okay, she realizes she got hacked. Here she is on public Wi-Fi, and then we can tell a story and build some scenarios around that. She's distracted on the bus. Maybe somebody grabs her device or plugs in a thumb drive, whatever that story is going to be. And then she's at home resetting her password, and maybe what should she be doing around that. So that's just a way of flipping from an information push based to a scenario pull based, and being able to use that story as the platform for the building of your training. Um, Real quick, how many of you guys have seen slides that look like this? The before slide. Oh, I don't have the chat open. Let me do that. 100%. Oh my, yes. Yeah. So I think it's just a shift in mindset, how you can take the same information and quickly turn it into a story by connecting to I think I see it for sure, by connecting to emotion. And there's more than one way to do this. I think there's the approach, and then there's the styling of it, right? So this is from the eLearning Art Library, using illustrated characters and creating that slide. This is using the eLearning Art photo characters, and this is using the InGrasp library. And it's just a different approach to how you're creating your characters, and each one has its benefits and its trade-offs for what the approach is. The eLearning Art Library is great, but there are limitations. What is in there is in there. With an AI tool, you're able to create something from scratch, and we'll get into that. So that's one. Here's another before slide. This is funny because I have this exact situation today, working from home, and my kids are going to be coming home from a minimum day early, and it's going to be a total mess. This is the before slide, and this is the story that kind of is my life, which is Luke sits in his room bored after hours of playing by himself on a minimum day, ironically. Mom gets home after the full day of work. Dean has been working from home, and he's been juggling things. And she's like, honey, he's 6 years old. He can't just be on his own all day, right? Again, like trying to relate to the situation, not the policy, right? The policy is one thing, but if you want people to care about it, it's like, how does it impact their lives? So these are all InGrasp images here, and this is cool. Actually, the very first image that we created with InGrasp was a person in a robe, because an eLearning Art customer was like, hey, I want to put this character in a robe. And it's like, that's going to be really challenging. We have photos of this person, but trying to Photoshop a robe onto somebody, not so easy to do. We could do the illustrated, but they didn't want to do the illustrated. So that's how this one came about. So this story, then we can walk through all of the different challenges, right? So you meet Dean. Here's the new work from home policy, and here are the different ways in which he is challenged, and then you can use that as the base for where you're doing your stories or scenarios. So he's expecting a delivery and really not paying attention to work. He's working in his robe and getting on a Zoom call, and like, what's the deal with that? He's feeling isolated. What are some strategies that he can use to handle that? And then here his brother pops in, and they're playing some video games. That's that. And again, multiple ways to style it, right? So here's the illustrated library where I built a similar scene. Here's the eLearning Art Library where I built a background and put the two characters in it, compositing it with 3 different cutout characters. And then here's a version where we're doing it within Grasp. This one I think is really cool. It's one of the things that gets me most excited, building a scenario-based training instead of a document. So this is the actual American Eagle return, refund, and exchange policy. I converted it to a PDF. I uploaded it, and then you can automatically get like quiz scenario style training. So instead of it, here's the policy. It's you're working at the American Eagle retail store. When a customer approaches you looking visibly upset, I need this shirt. So I need to return the shirt. Blah blah blah. You then are getting the options on how you'd handle it, and you're getting feedback based on what you did. So those are just like 3 different ways to flip information to stories and scenarios, and using images and storytelling to do that. So let's actually get into the tool and show you guys um, what can be done. And I'm happy to then answer questions, and you guys can kind of direct it. Um, Here, I'm in the InGrasp tool. This is my character library. Only people from my organization see this. Every character that's created is unique to whatever the organization is, and you would just create a new character from scratch, and we can just do that. And I generally it's a different way of thinking when you're looking at a stock photo site, or you're looking at eLearning art, or you're looking in tools or whatever. It's a curated list of images, right? This is more like you're directing your own photo shoot, and so there's going to be processing time while it's creating that, and you're building up your character. And instead of me talking, let's start doing some things, and I'll show you how I operate generally across multiple slides. So,
And a
um,
quick question here,
yeah.
Brian, if you don't mind, are there any limits to the number of generations that you can, the output?
No, we do unlimited. We do there is a cost to an actual cost of processing with it. So we set a very high limit and then have a discussion, but it's set to be so the normal user is not exceeding it. But if you were creating using character creation every day, all day, things would max out, and then we'd have to have a conversation about what that looks like. But for
Sure.
for the normal user, you should be totally fine. So it's not throttled right now. It's not throttled, but a conversation will come up if you're doing a crazy amount
Yeah.
of images. So we just added kids last week, which is pretty exciting, and that was a challenge. Patty, do you want to be the boss here and pick what age and some
Oh,
attributes?
wow. All right. Let's do 30s.
All right, we'll do 30s. This is interesting. We now have it just average looking. We used to have multiple levels, which is of course subjective, but really what we found is most people just wanted normal looking people. We'll do
Mm-hmm.
average builds. You'll see a ton of different ethnicities. What would you like to roll with here?
Let's go with Japanese.
All right, male or female?
Let's do male.
Great. And you want him in like an American looking
Sure.
Japanese person? Okay.
Yeah.
Hair?
We'll do short.
Great. Skin tone, I think we'll just do average. Yeah, there's interesting. We added this geographic region because there were European customers who wanted like French-looking characters, and it's interesting the North American look versus French. Even just changing that and how we uh, prompt the model on the back end from these drop downs makes a difference. All right, so this character is going to be creating right now, and usually it's like a 30-second to 2-minute create the character from scratch. I'll go ahead and open the character studio. Why did I? Is it here too? Oh, there we go. To me, that looks maybe a little younger than 30s. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
So
I'd
if I'm
say, yeah.
so if I'm not happy, all I do is I click generate again. So this is the world of working with AI.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be 100% the very first time. So if I wasn't happy, I can just click generate, and we'll do that. And let me open up. I'm gonna open up another window with the character library and just show you guys some other things. So I was working on this morning, creating the wife of Dean for the work at home scenario, and I'll just pull her up there. And these are some of the images that I had that I was creating for her. And there's multiple ways in which you are then creating the images. This is the base character that's created, and then these are the variations that we're going to get. I generally am starting with palette control, so I could say something like, business casual, which is also very vague, right? Like if you want to get more specific, it needs to be a blazer and a button-down shirt, then you can say that. But let's just do business casual. We'll say working from home. And if I don't get more specific, you're going to see after I do 2 prompts up here, these are the things it's going to give me other suggestions for what I might do. Like, oh, maybe I wanted her in a blazer, um, or whatever. Or I can keep this vague, and I can click generate. And let's just go ahead and get something generating right now. And every time that images are created, it's going to do 4 images with the hope that one of them is what you're looking for. And then you can prompt again from there. You can make some edits as well. But let's go back to our character here. Yeah, this is maybe closer to the 30s. If I'm happy with this guy, I'm clicking save and view. He then enters my library, and here he is. And I can do the same thing with the palette control. While that's the other one's processing, I'll just show you. For those of you, the multi-angle is very challenging with consistent characters. We can create consistent characters. Let me just start doing it. So I a lot of the time I'm doing rotating. I want like multiple angles of a character for storytelling. One of the ones I do a lot is the back of the head one. Like you have them looking over a computer screen. So I could just do back of the head here, and that one's going to process. Let's see if these other ones have processed yet. All right, that one hasn't. We'll pull up another character. So yeah, I generally am working in multiple tabs while things are going. Here's our kid character. Oh, and this is interesting. Okay, so I'll show you. So the initial images, I was prompting him in his bedroom playing by himself. This image, something came back that I didn't like, right? Like why does he have long pants here, but he's got like a shorts thing on over here? That's fine. These other images were good, but I liked this one, and I liked the outfit, and I liked the expression that he had here. If I want to make minor edits, I go in here and I can use in painting. So in painting is going to change just the area that you highlighted. So if I wanted pants on him here, I would just go over here like so. And if you miss a part of it, it will not touch anything that you didn't paint over. So you generally want to overpaint. So we'll do that. And then I could say, blue pants. And you generally want to prompt what you want in there, not what you don't want in there. So if, for example, it gave somebody with a watch, let me just click this. If it gave somebody with a watch, I wouldn't want to say remove watch, even though that's logically what we're thinking. It's more like bare wrist or arm or something like that. That's just what I found has worked better for that. And we'll continue to improve the way prompting works to be matching more what's on the human side and how we interpret it to produce those images. But that's how you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I got this in painted one. It's going to process a new series of these. Okay, so yeah, some of these are new now. Yeah, so this was a brand new image of her that just got generated. Oh, here we go. A couple more are popping out. And again, business casual is a wide range. So here's a blazer, here's just like a dress shirt over, and it'll probably crank out a couple more images. Let's pop back over to our guy over here. The headshots are still processing. Let me show you. Yeah, so here's kind of the idea behind that, right? Like a character, you can generate the back of the head. This is funny. Created a I created a character that's then browsing the InGrasp library. Very, very proud of him for using our tool. And let me. Oh, and that's the other thing I should note. All the downloads. So let's go back over here. Like this character, her hair is going to be real tricky. I'm curious how it will be with the removal of the background here. The eLearning art library, we hand clipped all 60 to 70,000 images. We calculated the time as like 2,000 hours spent doing it. Now background removal, you just click remove background and like seconds later, there it is. It already, wait, did I do the background? Yeah. Okay. Let me pull that up so we can take a look at it. So I have to minimize this. Oop, bear with me. Oh, that's the wrong presentation. Sorry, guys.
No
There.
worries.
I need to align my windows so we can do this. All right, so
We've
now
got
I
a few
can,
questions whenever you have a pausing point, but I don't want to interrupt you here.
oh, sure. Anyways, just want that this is just showing how you can clip the background out, right? And it's
Hmm.
instantaneous, and it makes me happy and sad at the same time. Sad for all the hours that were spent clipping things in the past, and happy that this is so easy. All right, what questions do you want me to?
Yeah, so Nicole was asking if you can generate like an Alaska native that is stereotypical,
Ye- Well, I think the question is what does that mean? So is it like
not stereotypical. Nicole, maybe can you, if, I don't know if you can unmute and share a little bit. If not, that's fine.
Yeah, can you hear me? Mhm.
yeah.
So most AI generated images come off like looking like an American Indian with braids, or they put him in a parka, out in the tundra. Um, yeah, most of them make them look like, a Native American from the Old West. They don't do a good job of, you know, making them look like an Alaska Native.
Yeah, so it's right now it's not a drop down that we have, but we could definitely try doing that. And then what I would say is once that once that character is created, they all come back with a like headshot and a white shirt where then you're prompting what outfit and what situation you want them to be in. So I think the answer is you would have some control over that. I'd be curious to see what we need to prompt on the back end to get the face looking the right way.
Yeah, a lot of them end up looking like that, like Asian.
Yeah, and so the part of the problem may be what the models have been trained on, right? And so that there's not a good base of what they've been trained on. We can actually we can do custom training to make whatever possible outfits or whatever, but that's a more complex thing. I would bet that it can get pretty close to what it is that you're looking for. It's just not part of the drop down right now. But just like somebody needed the French looking European Caucasian character, we played with it for a day and we were able to get something that was giving results that were better.
Very cool. Thanks.
Sure. Oh, were there other questions too?
So Jen was asking about the facial expressions. She said that, she didn't see like a lot of different facial expressions or emotions. Is that a possibility?
Yes, it's right now it's a multi-step process right now on our end. It will be integrated into the tool, but I'll show you guys how we're approaching that. Yeah, you don't want every character with the neutral kind of that neutral expression all the
Right.
time, but we have actually infinite expression control. Let me show you guys what that looks
That sounds
like.
fun. Infinite expression control.
It
Look at
is, it
this.
is. So hold on. Right. So this is the standard set we have rigged that we can run through any character. We process it on the back end. So you would identify the character and the outfit that you wanted, and then we can flow this set of expressions through for that image and process it. So right now, again, that's a manual process. You would just ping the support, and then we would process it and send that back. Um, but here's kind of like how those expressions you'll see across four different characters, how it's able to pull oops, I didn't mean to click. It'll pull a very similar expression through for all of
Mm.
them, and
Hmm.
that's pretty exciting. And then you can do that same character in multiple scenes. This is how that same expression flows through as
Cool.
well. So yeah, the expression control is cool. Um, yeah, and then if you're wanting multiple poses, so you would get your outfit, you would in paint to get into a couple different pose positions, and then we can flow the expressions through both of those. This is what I meant by the infinite expressions. Like we rig the faces, we can rig the faces to whatever, but how do you make that something that's usable for the end user, to not, like, infinite choices isn't always the best thing. So we started with that preset, what was that, 12 poses, 12 expressions. But we can do whatever the expression is based on what people are looking for.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the expression control is pretty exciting. Were there any other questions that I
Yeah.
missed?
Well, we got a couple of other questions. One of them was Jerzen was wanting to know if you had any special commands for more detailed prompts. Like a few minutes ago, you were talking about, putting in what you want.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, like, in Midjourney, you can add minus sign in front, to not have the thing. But I know you were saying, like, it needs to be what you want. But are there any, like, other special commands, I guess, to get more detailed?
Yeah, there's two. Let me go back to a character here. So, like, if I were going with this guy, let me go back here. There's a few different things. So there's the palette control, and you're entering little, like, essentially little prompts here that then become part of the overall thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, originally what we had was an open prompt, but what you're writing and what you think is clear is often not interpreted the way that you think, and that's palette control then came out. So now we kind of hide it down here, right? So you're in palette control. It's like, not until, if you wanted to be fully in the advanced control, you got to click down there. And again, this is how we started it. So, but it could be like, in the office with stacks of paper and files on his desk, looking, hold on, at the office, let's say, sitting at a desk with stacks of paper and files on the desk, looking overwhelmed, wearing whatever, blue polo shirt. And then I can click generate, and it'll do its thing. So you can do the fully open, or you can do the palette control. My suggestion is the palette control. It's essentially, you're just like dividing it into little prompts that you want. But yeah, AI, that, I think that's probably one of the more challenging things, is how do you get what's in your mind's eye to be interpreted in that same way to get you the result that you want. And some of it is an expectations thing, moving from a curated library into a prompting, and then generating and regenerating until you get what you want.
Right.
So, for example, like when the images that are in the eLearning Art library, it's like 100,000 total character images between illustrations and photo characters. But for those 100,000, we probably took 1 million photos, right? So 10% of them make it to be in front of the customer. Stock photography, same thing. Like a stock photographer with 1,000 images on Getty didn't take 1,000 photos. They took tens of thousands of photos to get down to that. So it's resetting expectations. So here we are, right? Like, so now I've got this guy looking a little bit overwhelmed with stacks of paper and files on his desk. And these are the 4 variations it's giving. We told it a blue shirt. Well, this one wasn't blue. And so you can look at that and say, that's a failure that it wasn't blue. Or you can say, well, it actually, we have 3 where the shirt was blue. So it's resetting those expectations on is every image perfect? No, it's not. But does one of them get you close enough where you can then do it? Or you might end up with something like this, and you're like, this one was perfect, but I hate that he has a dark collar and the dark lines there. Okay, then it's a 2-step process for you. It's in painting here. So
That's
let's go
just
back.
wonderful. I love that feature.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So you'll just go back over here. And so again, I'm not going to say no dark color. I'm going to say light blue, this might be a 3-step process. Let's just see what happens. Light blue collar and sleeves. And now it's going to give us 4 back. And I bet you not all 4 of them will be what we're thinking, but one likely will be. And if not, then I process it again.
Yeah.
Any other questions in there while that's going?
Yeah. So someone was just asking about the copyright situation with the images, if these can be used commercially in projects, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah. So it's actually one of the nice things. It's one of the nice things with using this is not a real human that exists, right? So on the copyright front, we give you with the license the ability to use the image how you want. So if it's in your training, or it's you wanted to as a client, or you have a client and you're a consultant, you want to put it in their stuff, like all that is fine.
Cool. That's awesome. And then Jen was asking if you can upload reference photos for backgrounds.
Right now, let's see what we got here. All right, guys, boom. All
Cool,
4 came
look at
back
it.
with the collar and the sleeve the right way. So
Yeah, very cool.
those are some really high stacks of files there.
It's getting crazy in there.
He is overwhelmed. Yeah, and so then if I wasn't happy with the expression, we could then flow that through the expression thing. Where were we on the last question? Can you remind me?
Yeah, about the uploading the reference photos for backgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now there's no reference anything that you upload on the image side. It's create the character. We do have a background builder as well. I guess that's a good thing to mention.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So again, we're working in this one is not a freeform one, but if I wanted to say, all right, we're gonna say it's a residential home and we're gonna put it in the living room, and we're gonna say the lighting is mixed, and let's just generate 4 and we'll see what happens. And that will process. What's the next question while that's going?
That's it so far. We are caught up.
Cool. I also do want to show you a couple of other things that exist outside of the character stuff. The features that I'll show right now they're separate from the character builder, but they're in beta, so we're giving people access to this. But there will probably be like add-ons to the plan. But we have a chat assistant that's in here, so you can do anything from scratch. Think like ChatGPT. So, create an outline for a course on cyber security for remote workers.
And while that's generating, are the
Yeah.
images only square, or can they be aspect ratios, like be 16:9?
Right now they come back square, but that's something that we do have control over. So if that was something that people wanted to do, we can do that.
Cool.
Oops, this got hung up, I think. I'll also show you this. The very first thing that we were working on was actually like I'm story and scenario based, and so let me just show you this. This is the scenario builder. And then we started going down more focusing on the character piece. But this was, I uploaded the American Eagle return policy, converted the policy that existed from the website, turned it into a PDF, uploaded that. It then will automatically create training topics that it think exist for that. And from there, you and then it automatically creates the characters for you too. So this was without any additional prompting. It was kind of cool. It came back like, okay, this actually feels like these people could be at American Eagle. And then you can go into the studio and create additional images from there. And then from that, what would happen is, so this topic is handling a damaged return. I can go into the details there. You're going to get more information than you need, and then you'll narrow it down from there. So you're working at the American Eagle retail store when a customer approaches you, blah, blah, blah. That was the example that I showed you. And then what are your options? You suggest this, here's how you handle it. And then there's the two different types of feedback, right? So there's the feedback, there's feedback where it's like the omniscient one telling you, here's why you got it right and wrong, and let me tell you the right answer. And then there's also a story-based consequence that exists for there. From all of these, you can, I forgot what the command is. You can pull up that same chat assistant and you can be getting help from there. You can make edits within here. You can download it as a Word file or as a doc file. So if you wanted to share it with others and do your edits outside, you can do it that way. And then you'll see the ones that are checks are the ones that it thinks are right. And often my preference is to not have the so obviously wrong ones. It's looking at, okay, let's pick three that the system thinks are right, and let's make them just slightly wrong, and have that be how the scenario is created. Let's see if the chat. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I don't know why this hung up before, but this is, if you've seen ChatGPT, like this is a similar output, and then you could say, okay, compliance and policies. So you could say like, create a more detailed outline for module 6. And it's going, and then you could say like, you can start digging in. If you play with ChatGPT, most of you guys probably have, you could dig into more. So we could say like suggest exercises and scenarios, for all right. So, suggest practice activities for whatever, 6.3.3. And then you can get into actual script writing and all of that. That's probably not new to everyone, but it's cool. This is built in. That's built into the tool. And the other neat thing, let's see if our scenario. Where are we? What was the other thing we were working on?
We've been having to do so many things. Look at this.
It was the backgrounds. Did I leave the background thing?
I
closed it.
I don't
I went to
see
the
it,
scenarios. That was all
Uh-oh,
right. Well,
that's all right.
all right. So those ones aren't going to be there.
Well, that's okay, but we can see that we can customize the backgrounds. We just can't upload reference photos.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll let that run, and I will not touch that one. And then the other thing that we have is we have a research agent, which is, if you went to the, oops, I shouldn't leave this one. If I were to go to the content library, what I showed you with the chat assistant, you're getting an open chat. You can chat from within the scenarios on any page. You can chat with a document, right? So we could do a chat around the American Eagle return policy if we wanted to. So it'll pull up that same PDF, and we can do some chats with that. But you can also create a research paper. So a large language model can have more hallucinations. It's also not pulling the most current data. So if you wanted to do a research topic, it'll send you an executive summary of something on that topic. So I've done that for like SMART goals or something, and it structures it in a way that it's also talking about common mistakes, how to avoid them, all of that stuff that then works very well for creating scenarios from that. So
cool.
That's that one. All right, so here's
our
room. Residential living rooms.
Yeah, and they're all pretty different. So if you have different style that you're looking for, that's cool.
Yeah, and again, it's just, if you're not happy, you just generate more.
Yeah.
So then those will process. So it's a different way of thinking.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to do a follow on, if you just go to InGrasp.ai, I'm happy to do one-on-one demos with anybody. And do I have that open?
And I put the link in the chat for folks as well.
Great. Oops.
Yeah.
I spelled it wrong. Yeah. So just click the Get Started or the demo button at the top.
Okay.
But I'm happy to stick around as long as you guys want to and answer questions. And
Yeah. What questions, what other questions do folks have? So people are asking about pricing. Do you have that on the website, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the character base is $600 for the character builder annually. If you want to bundle it with the eLearning art library, which usually goes for $300, we do a $100 discount, so that would be $800 for that. That's our current pricing with it. And then as we're rolling these other things off of the beta with the chat assistants and whatever, there will be some different packages as well.
Okay. Awesome. What other questions? Anything else folks have about InGrasp? Well, we really appreciate you being here. This has been really interesting to kind of see all of the different characters and all of the options that you've got. I can definitely see how you can create a lot of really cool stuff with it.
Thanks. I think the thing I'm the most excited about with it is there's a lot of stuff that can't be found easily or created easily, stuff that wasn't in the eLearning art library. So there are no Native American characters in the eLearning art library. It's hard. It's just when the studio where we do the photography is in LA, you would think we could find models to do it. I tried. It's just it's a challenge. And so and then not just you don't just want one, you want a bunch of them. Like that's now you could go with this tool, you could say I could do a whole training. I'm going to create a different age range, male and female and kids and all this other stuff. Um, and you can create as many as you wanted. I'm excited about more like diversity in every way. So mobility and being able to do wheelchairs, abilities and disabilities, and just things that basically being able to represent the world that we live in is an easier thing, and being able to not just be limited by what currently exists, but what you're wanting to create.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, that's really cool. And then Jin's asking if there's a link to the pricing packages. Do you have like, is there, or is it, how do they?
Right now, we're doing everything through a demo and making sure that people are getting what they want. But if you were to email me at my eLearning art email, so Bryan, Bryan at eLearningart.com, we can do it via email. Generally, what we're trying to do is have conversations about what people are trying to create, to show them how they could do it, to make sure that it's something that is going to work for what they're trying to create, instead of buying purchasing online and having different expectations, and not being able to finding that they're frustrated creating it. So resetting expectations. You're going to get 4 images here. Might need to generate more. Here's where you would in paint it. You wanted expressions. Here's how that's going to be. So we're really wanting to have conversations, at least for now, as we're getting people onboarded, versus just being able to purchase it directly online. But that'll change in the future.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you being here and going through this with us. If there's any final questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Okay, so Jerzen's asking, is the pricing model only for 1 year long subscriptions? I can see this as being more enticing to use if I can sign up for 1 month at a time for one-off projects.
Right now, it's all annual based.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to have a conversation about what that might look like for a month, we can have that conversation. Just send me an email.
Okay. And I put the email in the chat there
Great.
for folks. Any other questions before we wrap up and shift? All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate, again, like the demo. Let's give some chat love to Bryan. Thanks again for that. Looks like Kevin Costner. I don't know. That looks like Kevin Costner to me, especially in the cop suit there. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerson has one more question. Any chance of moving to 3D models?
Well, you can do the rotations on the characters but I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the 3D model. Right
There's
now,
an
it's going to be still photos, but it will be from multiple angles, if that's what you're asking.
Well,
We're able to do that on the bust, like the bust up right now on the rotations. But things are advancing quickly, and we're rolling out whatever the new tech is around that. It's very challenging on the rotations to get both the outfit and the face to be consistent. And so we're doing what we can control right now, but things keep changing and getting better.
yeah. Love it. Love all the variety too.
Thanks.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, thank you guys all for taking time out of your morning to sit with me. I'm excited to share this with you, and hopefully this can help you. But on the framework side, rethinking how to push information and be using stories and scenarios, and then this is a tool that will help support all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, really cool. We'll transition then to just a couple of other topics before we hop off. So feel free to stay, Bryan, or go, whatever your time permits. We don't want to take up all your time, but we've got the website and then your email address, and then we can, reach out if we have questions. So yeah, really awesome demo.
Thanks.
And
I'll jump off, and then you guys
yeah,
can talk about whatever you want to talk about, including this stuff or other things. So
yeah.
thanks again, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
So we have a couple of we have time for a snag, brag, vent question. We don't have a ton of time because I do have to hop off a little early, but I just wanted to open it up and see if someone has something they wanted a burning question that they wanted to get out. Snag, brag, vent question topic on our chat today. And the crowd goes wild.
I have a quick question, just kind of like
Nicole.
a poll.
Yeah.
Is anyone using paying for articulate AI? And if so, are they finding it helpful? Is the cost comparable for what you're getting? Yeah, I'd like to hear.
I love it because it allows me to swap blocks and I don't have to rebuild them. That's the primary reason.
Oh, for in Rise?
Yeah, like for
Is
example,
anyone
if I
using
have
it in Storyline?
I've used it as well. And what's called can you hear me? I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you,
Okay.
Jersey.
Yeah, because we used to use Wellset Labs for voiceover, and while we were happy with it, we did want to go to something different, and we were experimenting with 11 Labs. Well, I was experimenting with 11 Labs and showing them what it could do. Although there are some settings there that wasn't going to be very helpful for a team. But then Articulate went to 11 Labs anyways. And it's been really helpful for us because we've been able to easily switch our voiceover without having to like download the audio file, then also make sure when we import it, then have to do the captions with it later on. Right now, you just choose the voice you want, put the text in there, and then click the automatically create captions with it, and it does it automatically. We don't have to worry about that at all. So it's actually sped up our workflow a little bit. So as a team, we're able to use the same consistent voice. We do have to make sure that if we're using like a template to kind of write down what the settings we use, what voice we use, or what voices are, kind of pre-pick them and pre-pick the settings. One of the things that we're having issues now though is you can't, like, if there's a certain word that is being like phrases or words that have to be said a certain way, there's not an easy way to change it to say that instead of like if you want to say record instead of record, there's not, like, you have to kind of experiment with it, and sometimes it's like, what, you just got to give up because there's no you can't put the I forgot what they call them, the small little instructions on how to say it pneumatically on the prompt. So Or
So
the,
that was my biggest issue, Jerson, too, is because in Well Said you can do like, the inflections, or you can tell it how to, like, you can spell it phonetically and do some of those edits. And I did just, when I was at DevLearn in November, I talked to Articulate about that, and they said that it's coming. So it's on their roadmap to work with 11 Labs to do those sorts of things, and that we should see that in the whatever the near future is.
yeah.
And so, because that was my biggest challenge too, because I like, especially with all the jargon that technical clients have. But apparently it's coming.
Yeah, and then which is weird because 11 Labs has a way to upload like dictionaries, like language
Yeah.
dictionaries, and so I was hoping they'd do the same thing, because I find that a lot easier than
Mhm.
having to like spell it out, or put the phenoms in there, and then how are the captions going to work if you have like kind of a special way of trying to say it.
Right.
So yeah.
Awesome. So now you know some of the caveats there, Nicole.
But
Thanks.
as a single
Yeah.
developer, probably it'll probably be cheaper to have Articulate Storyline and then also like get 11 Labs. I think 11 Labs is like $20 a month, and then you can cancel your subscription for a little bit. I think it still saves it. I know Well Said Labs does save it, but I know it's pretty expensive to have it all integrated together, unless you have those clients flowing in, and it makes sense to pay for that, and save the it does save a little bit of time, but I don't know if it will justify the cost of it.
Yeah. Cool. Jonathan always knows about the tools. Thanks so much. And I just want to finish with a special welcome to John Dudley. It's his first community hour with us, and just wanted to hear a little bit about what's going on for you and how we can help. And yeah, so I'll switch it over to you, John.
Thanks, Patty. Hi, all. John Dudley here. Currently living in Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town right next door called Mint Hill. Spent 30 years as an educator in New Jersey, retired 2.5 years ago. So I'm now on this side of the education mountain, and recently got into instructional design on this side of it. And I'm kind of just looking to cannonball into the ID world. I've done some things, and I've met a whole bunch of people, and came across you guys, and just wanted to introduce myself and kind of see where I can help out with anyone, or if anyone's looking to bring someone on board, network or mentor or anything like that. But that's kind of just where I am right now.
Cool. Are you looking to consult or freelance or get a full-time
Yes.
job, or so consult, freelance?
Yeah, freelance consult. I
Okay.
do not want to go full time. I've been working since I was 14 years old, so I'm tired.
Oh yeah, I get that.
So I do not want to pull another 9 to 5. Freelance consulting, contracting, what have you, maybe part time. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to do this. I'm up to my eyebrows and beyond right now, so that's
Okay.
kind of a little world that I'm kind of find myself in. But I'm open to do other things as well. All the other different platforms that are out there. So
Yeah. And do you typically sit in like the development seat, or like storyboarding, like writing, needs analysis? Like what do you like to do?
I like the creative part. So I guess, the design part where I get to create the videos. I've been working with Rant Screen for
Yeah.
a few weeks now. And also I did some stuff with Ruud Reese. And I really like the creation part of it. So if, the development, I guess the storyboarding part's kind of not my thing, but the other part is. So,
Okay, cool. Well, we are here to help out. If you have any questions along the way, we do these live sessions twice a month. Just so everyone knows, our next community hour is Friday, February 21st. We meet the first Thursday and the third Friday of every month. If somebody's not on Slack, let me know and I can get you an invite. That's where we keep up with each other between those live sessions. And I will go ahead and just conclude us here. So thanks, everyone. Wonderful discussion. It was pretty cool to learn all about, InGrasp, and great to see Alex's face. It's been so long. And just thank you all for being here. This is a highlight of my week always. Oh, love your cat in the background. Yeah, thanks. All right. Well, have a great rest of the week, everybody, and we'll chat soon. See you later.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.